It's Libby Pease from Listening Tree Studio and Coaching, and today I wanted to share with you a bit of history about Thanksgiving. This will both be for the Canadian and the American Thanksgiving, although it will be posted for the Canadian Thanksgiving first and then again just before November's American Thanksgiving. So welcome and thank you for joining me. If you're not aware, every year for the different holidays in North America, I do a video that gives a little bit of a history as well as how people celebrate the different holidays and seasons. If you have anything that you'd like to share or add, please add them to the comments below, either here in YouTube or on Facebook or wherever you're seeing this video that you see today. So, without further ado, everyone thinks, when they think of Thanksgiving, is Turkey Day and the ability to give thanks. And I know that the whole idea of Thanksgiving, there is a lot of history that is presented in the United States. In Canada, we don't get as much history about it, so I'll go into that in a little bit of detail. But first, when was the first Thanksgiving? Well, the first Thanksgiving was actually in Canada. It was in, let me just get the dates straight, 1579. And the first Thanksgiving was presented by Martin Frobisher. He was very thankful and grateful that he was able to make the first leg of his journey from Europe to Canada. He had come here in order to find the Northwest Passage so that they could find a trade route that was shorter between Europe and Asia, so that they could have a safer not so safe at the time, a safer route and a quicker route to be able to make trade with the rest of Asia and India and the like. So he was so grateful that he actually had the first Thanksgiving in Upper Canada, and this was rooted in tradition of harvest that he had brought over from Europe, and he continued at different times of the season in Upper Canada, because as you can imagine, let's say an area like Windsor or an area like Ottawa or northern Quebec or Newfoundland or BC or even up in Nunavut, the harvest and bounty are going to be at different times. So these celebrations happened at different times of the year. And it wasn't until actually 1957 that the Canadian Parliament instilled that Thanksgiving would be on the first Monday of October. So since 1957, which isn't really that long ago, we have had a consistent Thanksgiving on the first Monday of October. So in the United States, Thanksgiving has been a big tradition. The colonists that were in Plymouth, Massachusetts in 1620 actually did not fare well that first winter. Many of the colonists died at that time. And the next year, the colonists decided to ask for help. And I believe it was also the Wampanoag Indians also offered some help, because they saw that their new neighbors were not faring well. So over that summer, they worked together in order to create an amazing bounty. There were many stores, and it was a good season, so they worked well together. And that unity helped to provide enough food for both communities to be able to survive well in that next winter of 1621. So in this time of polarization, it's so important to remember that unity piece, that, you know, even though there are two sides that may be very opposing views on how to live and how to do things, that their ability to still work together and create a bounty and a harvest was so important. And it's interesting too that in the 1800s, Sarah Hale saw the importance of that unity as well. And what she wanted to do was to be able to unify Thanksgiving across the United States as well. Because at that point in time, many of the different states and many different counties were actually celebrating Thanksgiving, or that harvest festival, at different times. And she felt that it was really important to unify the United States and bring everybody together after the Civil War, in order to bring that cohesion back. And it was actually in 1863 that Abraham Lincoln decided that the last Thursday in November would be the day for Thanksgiving for the Americans. And that did bring some unity back into the United States, to be able to have that sense of gratitude all together across the country. And it's interesting with that gratitude piece, you know, it really goes beyond just those individuals who may be considered Christian. There is a harvest season across the world that has that time of festival, that time of carnival, to be able to connect together with family, friends, and family of choice in order to celebrate the great season of the summer, the bounty that we've been able to gather during that time, and to go into the winter together and cohesive. And it's interesting because in some of the Facebook groups I've noticed that there's been discussions about family gatherings and dinners, even for people who are in religions that don't celebrate Thanksgiving per se, and yet there were still gatherings of family and friends having turkey dinner and connecting with each other during that time and taking advantage of the opportunity to be able to get together. So what are going to be your traditions for Thanksgiving? Does it have to be a turkey? Can it be a faux turkey? Can it be something else? Can it be just the bounty of the food that you enjoy or that you have produced in your own garden, and be able to share that with family, friends, family of choice, so that you can have that connection before we get into the winter. And this sort of weaves into that gratitude piece, because we want to be grateful for not only the food that we have, but the individuals that we share that with. And it's amazing how gratitude can shift things. I know that at Thanksgiving people give thanks, and in some traditions they actually go around the table and say what they've been grateful for over the last year. And I'd like to bump that up a little bit, invite you to bump that up a bit, and each day be able to write down something that you are grateful for within your life. So things that you're grateful for that you were even having a hand in producing. I'm grateful for being able to get out into nature and share this with you. So being able to write those pieces of gratitude down can be so important, because it can really shift your focus. It can shift your focus to the things that you are happy about, that you're grateful for. And when you shift your focus, you find more of what you are happy about and what you are grateful for. So in some families, they actually have a gratitude jar. And in that jar, everyone within the family writes something down that they are grateful for, either in that day or in that week. And at the end of the season, so maybe even at Thanksgiving or at Christmas or at another major celebration for that family, they actually read those pieces of paper that show the gratitude that they have. And it's amazing that once you start that gratitude jar and start reviewing those things that you're grateful for, and you realize how many things you are grateful for, that it adds to itself. And each year I have heard from families who do this that that gratitude jar actually fills more and more and more each subsequent year that it is done, because people in the family are able to see more and more of what they are grateful for. So I just invite you to bring in that tradition of writing down on a regular basis what you're grateful for and how that affects you, and it'll be interesting to see how that changes focus for you over the next year. So thank you again for joining me for this video on the history and of Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to you, with all the traditions that you bring to it and might create. Be creative, do something different. It doesn't have to be turkey and it doesn't have to be leaves, but I just invite you to enjoy your time and consider what you are grateful for, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you so much.